All right, good evening, everyone. I'm John Paul DeLange. I'm a husband, a dad, and an opa to an amazing, beautiful granddaughter. I'm also an Army combat veteran with 30 years of active duty service. And I'm a survivor of post-traumatic stress, a wound the military medical system I depended on for my entire adult life never detected while I was in uniform. I learned how to beat it and build an extraordinary life. And now I'm showing veterans and their families how to develop a growth mindset, how to release those wounds from the past, envision a new future, and level up their lives. Now, before I tell you why you aren't getting more of what you want, I thought I'd update you on something that's near and dear to me. Last week, I told you about a family of 9 in Afghanistan that I've been shepherding since April of this year. I can't tell you anything about them now because they're in hiding. They're in hiding because the Taliban is hunting them. And the Taliban are hunting them because the head of the family helped save American lives during the war there when he served as an interpreter for U.S. Special Operations Forces. And now the Taliban consider him a criminal and want to find him and do bad things to him. Last week, I asked for donations to help feed him and his family during the hard winter months that lie ahead. Since he's in hiding for his life, he can't work. And if he can't work, he can't feed his family. So I'm asking you to help me keep this family going while they wait to cross the last hurdle with the State Department so they can immigrate to the U.S. finally, legally, I might add. Now, it costs $500 to feed and house this family of 9 every month. So anything you can offer helps them survive. And if you care to donate, please just scan the QR code and donate to Project Dynamo. These guys are my heroes. It's a nonprofit dedicated to helping save Afghan heroes that put their lives on the line for us. I've worked very closely with them in the past. I'm not affiliated with them, but these are the guys that every month have helped me get resources to this family who are in dire need of our help. So anything you can give to help this family makes a world of difference. So please donate what you can. And please also remember, this is critical, to write food into the comment block in your donation window so that 100% of your tax-deductible donation will go directly to this family to keep them going. And you can take pride in knowing that you've helped make a difference in the lives of some amazing people who deserve it. Thank you in advance for anything you can give. Now, I'd also like to tell you about an upcoming event that I have planned in December. Did you know that 55% of Americans will experience the holiday blues this year? For many of them, they'll feel like their loneliness will be worse than last year. The holidays can be a hard time of year for many veterans and their families, especially the ones that are living with post-traumatic stress. That's when they're most susceptible to reliving those old memories that bring feelings of sadness and isolation rather than joy and connection that we're so accustomed to have coming with this time of year. So I'm having a masterclass next month that's geared especially toward helping you thrive through the holidays. I'll talk about how to cure those holiday blues and also help you set yourself up for creating your best year in 2024. No matter what you're experiencing right now, just imagine 1 year from now how different your life can be just by attending this masterclass. Because I'm also going to be making a major announcement that includes a major giveaway. And all it costs is 20 to 30 minutes of your time to find out how you and the people you love can thrive through the holidays. So just scan the QR code to register. We're going to have some fun in this class, and I think you're going to love this event. And don't forget to share this with someone you care about or someone you don't care about who you feel could benefit from attending this class. Who in your life needs to thrive through the holidays and cure those holiday blahs and create their best life in 2024? Please share it with them. I'd be grateful, and they'll thank you too. Now, we're building on the discussion we started last week about the 4 human desires. Today, you're going to find out why you aren't getting more of what you want. Sometimes it feels like life is throwing up a bunch of roadblocks in the way of progress. And some days I know it feels like 2 steps forward, 3 steps back. Have you ever had days like that? Yeah. Well, the good news is there are only 4 obstacles that can get in your way of feeling more alive, building better relationships, living with meaning and purpose, and feeling like you're growing and getting better in your life. And I'll show you what they are today. Now, these 4 obstacles are not the same as Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Remember that? You read this from the bottom up, where your most important needs must be met first before the ones above it can be met. So you have physiological needs for food, water, shelter, clothing, rest. You have safety needs for your personal security, for the security of your loved ones. And that comes in the form of good health and employment and a place that you can call your own, like a piece of property or a car, for example. And then right after those basic needs, you need love and belonging. You need to feel seen and heard, like you belong to something bigger than yourself, like your family, like your organization, like a social group that you interact with. Those elements give you that sense of love and belonging that we need so much in order to build our esteem, to grow in our confidence, and to show up in the world as our best self, and to meet the challenges that we're faced head on, knowing that there are people around us that will support us and cheer us on and keep us focused on fulfilling our purpose in life. The next need after love and belonging is esteem. You need to have self-respect and self-esteem. Those generate more confidence and courage to meet the bigger challenges that will certainly come in over the course of your life. And those challenges are all designed to help you become your very best, the very best of who you're meant to be, help you self-actualize and achieve the highest goals of what you're meant to achieve in this life. Everyone has these needs, And everyone has a responsibility to understand their needs at each level and make sure they honor them too. The problem is most people don't honor their needs, and that's when life gets harder because meeting these needs help us fulfill the four human desires we all share in common. And here they are. These are the four things we all want more of. I think everything that the human experience desires is summarized right here. If you want more aliveness, if you want better relationships, more meaning and purpose in your life, you must be aware of what your needs are and meet them first. It's not selfish to do that. So, why don't you have more of these? Well, around the perimeter, there are four reasons why you don't experience as much of these four things in the middle as you want. Four reasons you may not do the work you need to do to experience more of these four desires. These are the difference makers between you and others, especially the people you look up to, who to you look like they have an idyllic life, like they're living the life you want to have. And you wonder sometimes, maybe sometimes you're jealous about it too. Why do they have, why can't I have what they have? But the truth is, some people just live lives of aliveness and connection and meaning and growth at higher levels than others. But listen carefully to me here, because I want you to know it's not because they're better or smarter or luckier than you are. It's not because they have more or better resources either. It's because they know how to get through these obstacles more effectively than others and more consistently than others. And you can learn how to do the same thing. That's why I'm teaching this. I want you to experience more of these things in the middle. So let me show you what they are, these roadblocks to having more. You have total control over every one of them, okay? You can learn to master each one of these as I show them to you. So let's get started. The first reason many people don't have more aliveness and connection, meaning and growth at higher levels than others is their environment. Yeah. It's also the only obstacle that's outside of you that influences those four desires. The other three are within you, and we'll talk about those, but this one is still something that you can master and control your environment. So, what do I mean by that? Well, sometimes veterans' relationships were shaped by the environment they grew up in. It could be their family, their school, or community, whoever they were most around. They shaped the environment that we grew up in. Maybe they didn't see examples of striving for excellence, of service, or volunteerism. And if they didn't see any of those things, they didn't think about them. They didn't know to do that, or that there's more to life than living paycheck to paycheck. So our environment often sets us up for the results we get in our lives. Sometimes our lives are influenced by the environment we're in now. And one of the reasons people don't achieve more in their life is, quite frankly, their environment sucks. Now, everybody they're surrounded by when this is the case is at or below their level, especially ones that are in positions of influence and leadership over us. How many times have you been frustrated by a leader appointed over you by some of the decisions that they make, or some of the ways that they communicate, or their leadership style, or the way they took care of people or didn't take care of people in some cases? Most people don't have a supportive environment for who they are and who they're trying to become because people in their environment have labeled them, so they fear rejection. And that was certainly true for me in the last organization I worked in before my decision to retire. I felt labeled by them, by that organization, because I came from another organization they didn't understand. And that was so different. It was so different culturally that they didn't know how to integrate the two. And in my opinion, they showed very little interest in understanding that other organization and the culture of that organization. They expected us to conform to them without understanding how to do that, how to help us do that. So, in a sense, it kind of became their way or the highway, and there was no interest in learning about each other. Consequently, my colleagues who came over with me didn't feel seen or heard or accepted by the new organization. No curiosity for growth or deeper connection from the organization we merged with. And this is where we need to have some difficult conversation to shift the environment away from the stigmas around things like trauma and post-traumatic stress that were so prevalent in the previous organization that I belonged to. So we can create more of an accepting environment with conditions that are more suitable for finding solutions, for understanding each other, for valuing each other and respecting and appreciating what we bring. If veterans feel lots of anxiety at work or their relationships, if they become irritable or moody or tend to disconnect when they're stressed or they don't feel seen or heard, that's their environment having an effect on aliveness and connections, their ability to connect, their sense of purpose, of wanting to make meaning, wanting to make a difference, and continuous growth. Remember, you are your environment until your ambitions drive you out of your environment. And that's why I decided to retire. So, and do this. So, one of the challenges I have for veterans and anyone is if their environment has limited them. Has your environment limited you? Does your work environment feel supportive and safe? And are you surrounded by people that are cheering you on and want you to be successful and are helping you grow and climb up that ladder? Or are they fighting you? Are they against you? Is it highly competitive, where people tend to stab others in the back in order to get ahead? That's the environment that has an impact on your sense of aliveness, your ability to feel safe to make connections with others, to find meaningful purpose in the work and the friendships that you form and the colleagues that you work with, the teams that you build. And you have a choice here. If it's not working for you, course correct it. It's as simple as that. Now, the next element is ambition. And lots of people don't have the ambition to get better at something. And that's not a judgment. I didn't know I should have the ambition to beat my trauma triggers until I knew I could, until I knew I had it to begin with. And then I ran to it and said, let's do this. I want to beat it. Then it became my internal drive that resulted in more aliveness, a much, much better relationship with my amazing wife, Marcella, a purpose to serve the veteran community because I wanted for them what I was discovering for myself, and a deep, deep desire to keep growing. Once I found out how trauma is just a wound and I could beat it, it became my ambition so I could be happier and more and feel more alive and connect with the people that matter to me and keep growing. And this is why I love coaching so much. You know, the first habit of high performance, the high performance habits, is to seek clarity. You have to have clarity about what you want for your life. Maybe it's to have a better relationship with your spouse or partner. Maybe it's to advance in your career. People have to deliberately connect with their ambition every day, especially if they're dealing with stress, anxiety, or depression, or judgment from others, or expectations from others. Because when our activities are disconnected from ambition, we lose our sense of aliveness. See how these start to work together? And the only way to get it is to force ourselves back into ambition land. So, my challenge to you is to decide what's something you really want to get better at, that if you mastered it, would change your life. Are you fulfilling your full potential at home and in your career and even in your social circles? Are you living up to your full potential? Are you giving everything you possibly can? Because if you don't, if you're not, then it might be a question of ambition. You can do this. You can do this. So, our ambition dictates a lot of people's lives. As our environment dictates a lot of people's lives, ambition and environment go together. You see? They both go together to level up your life. So the next element, the next obstacle that gets in the way of having more in life is education. Now, the direction, the quality, and achievement in people's lives is always tied to education, it's tied to what they know. Veterans must know how to feel alive in a way that's healthy, how to connect with people, how to search for meaning, and how to grow. We're trained throughout our military careers to be better than we used to be. That doesn't stop once you take your uniform off. We don't stop striving for more responsibility, bigger challenges, meeting higher goals, setting and meeting higher goals. That doesn't stop once we take our uniform off. Knowledge, skills, abilities, and talent. We're trained to keep growing those. And these things matter if we want more aliveness and deeper connections and making a bigger difference and continuous growth in our life. Now, the reason veterans who also struggle with trauma get stuck and struggle is that they've already tried to manage their triggers and they're looking for a new level. If they don't learn, they're not going to create those breakthroughs that we all need to keep growing. If they want a new level, they need to re-engage learning again. And that's exactly what I did. Once I received my diagnosis of post-traumatic stress, I ran toward it and learned as much as I possibly could about it. And one of the biggest lessons I learned was there is so much less to fear than I thought there was, because trauma is just a wound. And guess what? We can heal a wound if we know how. So for those people that do re-engage in learning again, I really celebrate them for showing interest. And for those of you that are in that boat too, I celebrate you for joining me on this learning journey. Whether you're here live with me now or watching the replay, I celebrate you for being here. I want you to really understand that it's the episodic learner that keeps struggling. The people who stay and learn are the ones who keep growing and getting better. There's no magic to it. It's education that develops more competence and leads to more of it. And this brings us to the number one obstacle that makes the most difference. It's the number one reason for not having more aliveness or better relationships or finding our purpose and living up to our greatest potential. It's the number one reasons veterans, I believe, don't take action or follow through and get that aliveness and connections and meaning and growth that they deserve. And what is it? It's esteem. Esteem. Having esteem isn't just a matter of saying, well, I believe I'm worth it. But more importantly, it's declaring, I can see myself there. I can see myself in that higher position. I can see myself making a bigger contribution, making a bigger difference. I can see myself leading a group of people and making a difference in that community or organization because that's what I'm capable of doing. I can identify with that. It's not self-esteem because the esteem to become more is not about the self. It's how we view ourselves personally and how we operate in the world. Why do you think, why do some of the most talented, capable people make terrible choices? It's because their esteem is low. Our triggers might feel like we don't deserve more aliveness or better relationships or rise to the level we're capable of in our careers. It's because I don't see myself like other successful people. Some people, I've seen so many that are so enormously talented, but they're content to live and operate at a lower level of fulfillment for themselves. They know that they can achieve more, but they don't make the decision, they don't have the ambition to pursue that. And that is often caused by a lack of esteem. How do you know these people, those that we see at higher levels that seem successful and happy and fulfilled in their life? How do we know those people didn't do the work to overcome their lack of ambition or their disempowering environment or their lack of knowledge or skills? Or if they struggled with trauma, how do we know they didn't do the work to overcome those triggers and take control of their lives? If veterans and others can say to themselves, I care for myself, I believe in myself, I want to see myself develop and beat my trauma triggers, I deserve to have an extraordinary life. That's esteem. If they don't have this, they'll believe what other people tell them about what's possible for them, and they'll always fall short of the mark. And they'll know it because they don't feel aliveness, that sense of aliveness. And that has an impact on their purpose and on the relationships that they have with others. Please remember this. Write this down. I've struggled too, and I was willing to go through hell to break through my fear and create the extraordinary life I have. I learned to give myself a lot of grace along the way because I saw myself doing this in service to other veterans who have so much more to give. So give yourself grace. It's so important to give yourself grace along the way because nobody gets it perfect. We all make mistakes, but those mistakes, instead of criticizing ourselves and judging ourselves for them, we must see them as opportunity for growth. I was called to do this coaching work in the areas of having a growth mindset, of helping people make peace with the past and reclaiming personal power through a wonderful process called radical forgiveness. I was called to help them envision their best life with infinite possibilities and develop the habits and skills to break through to higher levels of learning because I know that other veterans can succeed just like I did. My message to them and you is to believe in your ability to figure this out and believe that you deserve it. Be willing to push yourself, stretch yourself to become more. Believe you have the ability to break through these obstacles of environment, ambition, education, and esteem, and create a future that's better than where you are now. That's esteem. So, this is the whole framework. That's it. Now you know what you and everyone wants more of. And you also know what keeps us from getting more of what we want. Which one of these resonate with you? Is it your environment that's holding you back? Are you focused on the things that you really need to be focused on in terms of the ambition that you need to master a skill that you need to level up to the next level? Is it education? Is there something else you need to learn to get to be able to get to the next level? Or do you need more confidence and courage to take on the bigger challenges with confidence and persistence and a belief that you deserve to be there. You do deserve to be there. So if you missed part one, go and see it now. I love teaching this stuff, and I have so much more to share with you. I teach on personal growth topics every week. Click to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss a single video. I can't wait to see you right in there again next time. And until then, here's to your greatness, and believe that the very best is yet to come. I'll see you next week.